Now there's news that the king and queen might be in big trouble for what happened to her. Some believe they played a part in the accident that took her life, and it has led to them being punished. This is a huge moment because it makes people wonder what will happen to the royal family now. The world is watching closely, shocked and curious, as this unbelievable story unfolds. Could this be the end of the royal family as we know it? Will the truth finally come out after so many years? The mystery of Princess Diana's tragic end has returned, and it feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. The secret investigation. Now, imagine this. It's been years since Diana's tragic death. The world has moved on, or at least, that's what everyone believed. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a storm breaks loose. One evening, a mysterious video leaks online. At first, people think it's fake. It's grainy, shaky, looks like an old secret recording. But what's in that video leaves everyone speechless. It shows a secret meeting that no one was ever supposed to see. There's a man who looks shockingly like King Charles. He's younger in the video. There's also Camila, sitting quietly in the corner, listening. A man dressed like a British agent talks about removing threats to the royal family. And right there, the name Diana is mentioned. The internet explodes. News channels pick it up. Suddenly everyone's eyes are back on that dark night in Paris. Could it be that Diana's death wasn't just an accident after all? Soon, more shocking evidence starts to surface. Old CCTV footage from the tunnel appears. Footage that was supposedly destroyed years ago. But here it is, showing a mysterious black car tailing Diana's vehicle. Whistleblowers from MI6 come forward, shaking with fear, claiming they were forced to stay silent all these years. One of them confesses, "We were told this was for the good of the country." Digital forensics teams jump in. They dig up hidden letters Diana wrote. Letters where she feared for her life. She even wrote, "They are planning something, and I know who's behind it." Her words send chills down everyone's spine. DNA tests, bank transactions, and secret recordings all start to form a terrifying picture. Slowly but surely, the dots begin to connect. And shockingly, they lead right to Charles and Camilla. The world watches in disbelief. Headlines scream, "Diana's murder mystery. The royals involved?" Crowds gather outside Buckingham Palace. People chant Diana's name. The world's most famous family is now facing its darkest hour. The royal trial. And then, something happens no one thought possible. The British government announces a royal trial. For the first time in history, a reigning king and queen are being dragged to court for murder. The trial becomes the biggest event the world has ever seen. Cameras flash as Charles and Camilla arrive at the courthouse. Their faces pale, eyes heavy with guilt or maybe fear. Streets overflow with angry crowds holding posters of Diana. Some cry, some scream, and some just stand frozen, unable to believe their eyes. Inside the courtroom, shocking witnesses take the stand. Former royal aides, once loyal to the crown, now speak the truth. They describe secret meetings in the palace, hidden conversations, and orders given in hushed voices. One of the Queen's former bodyguards wipes his tears as he says, "I was told to follow Diana, to report every move. I didn't know it would lead to this." Next, a former MI6 officer steps forward. He reveals secret files, proof that the agency was ordered to watch Diana, record her, and if needed, get rid of her. The courtroom gasps. The prosecution plays a hidden audio recording. It's crackly but clear enough. A voice, eerily similar to Charles, says, "It has to be done. She's a danger to us all." Gasps fill the air. Camilla's face turns ghost white. The financial records come next. Huge sums of money moving in and out of secret accounts. Payments to agents, cars, even the very hotel where Diana stayed that night. Every piece of evidence adds another nail to the royal coffin. Outside, the nation is divided. Some still believe in the monarchy. Others demand justice for Diana. Protests break out across the country. Monarchists clash with those shouting for the royal family to be abolished. And then comes the final blow. Diana's old friend takes the stand. Tears fall as she shares a conversation they had just weeks before Diana's death. She told me she was scared. She said, "If anything happens to me, look at them. Look at Charles and Camila." The courtroom falls silent. It's no longer just a case. It's history being made. The verdict: guilty. Finally, after weeks of shocking testimonies, the world holds its breath as the jury returns. The judge looks down, voice trembling slightly, and says the words no one thought they'd ever hear. "We, the jury, find King Charles and Queen Camila guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice." For a moment, the entire courtroom is frozen. Then gasps, screams, and even cheers erupt. The judge announces the sentence. "For your crimes, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment. If the crown wishes, you may instead choose exile, never to return to this land again." Charles lowers his head. Camila is seen wiping her tears, but it's too late. The damage is done. The monarchy, once the pride of Britain, is shattered in front of the entire world. Reactions pour in fast. Prince William and Prince Harry, once divided by oceans and grudges, sit side by side in the front row, their faces unreadable. Meghan Markle is seen comforting Harry, while Kate wipes her tears. It's a scene no one will ever forget. Outside, people cry, some in pain, some in joy. A woman holds up a picture of Diana and says, "Finally, she gets her justice." The monarchy, as the world knew it, is over. Global reactions and collapse of the monarchy news spreads like wildfire. Every corner of the earth is talking about it. World leaders come forward. Some express shock, others relief. The once golden image of the British royal family is now stained forever. Commonwealth countries waste no time. Australia, Canada, and others begin serious talks to remove the British monarch as their head of state. Some countries even vote right there and then. The message is clear. The crown no longer rules here. The UK streets are filled with protests. Some march with Diana's pictures, some chant her name, and some demand the country become a republic. The British flag flies half-mast, but not for the king, for the end of an era. For weeks, headlines dominate newspapers, social media, and every television screen. End of the Windsor era. The words stare back at millions every morning. Suddenly, Diana's story comes back to life. Documentaries air, new books are written, and old interviews resurface. There are even talks of posthumously declaring Diana a saint, a symbol of kindness, grace, and the people's princess forever. The nation reflects, heartbroken yet relieved. Justice has finally been served. Where are King Charles and Camila now? So, where did King Charles and Queen Camila go after it all ended? Reports say they chose exile. No one knows exactly where, but rumors swirl like wildfires. Some say they were sent to a secret castle in the middle of nowhere, guarded by soldiers, far away from the eyes of the world. Others believe they're locked away in a hidden royal prison, stripped of their titles, their luxuries, and their power. Years later, a secret interview surfaces. It shows a frail, older Charles. His once proud face now looks tired, worn out by guilt and regret. He whispers, "I thought I was protecting the crown, but I destroyed it." Camila, pale and broken, is seen staring out of a dusty window. "We lost everything," she says. "Was it worth it? I don't even know anymore." Some people believe they deserve worse. Others think rotting away in loneliness is punishment enough. And somewhere, in the heart of London, stands a giant statue of Diana. Flowers cover its base every single day. Children run around it, laughing. Old women sit beside it, praying. The world remembers her not as a victim, but as the princess who won, even in death. And just like that, the story comes full circle. The mighty royals, once untouchable, are now just a memory. A warning to everyone that no power, no throne, no crown is greater than the truth. Karma took its time, but in the end, justice found its way. And Diana? She didn't just live forever in people's hearts. She became a legend, the princess who never needed a crown to rule the world. If you found this video thought-provoking, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our updates on this and other important stories. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think really happened? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
That made her dangerous.
That made her dangerous because of the connections that she was forging within the British press.
Under Queen Camilla's grand mansion, hidden deep below the ground, there was a secret tunnel no one knew about. For years, it stayed hidden, untouched, and forgotten. But one day, the FBI discovered it by accident. At first, they thought it was just an old underground path, maybe used by workers a long time ago. But as they stepped inside, the air felt cold, and something didn't seem right. The tunnel was dark and quiet, but their flashlights showed strange things on the walls, things that shouldn't be there. The further they walked, the more their hearts pounded. Then, at the very end of the tunnel, they saw something so shocking, so terrifying, that their faces turned pale. Whatever was down there had been kept secret for a reason. The tip-off that changed everything. It all started with something no one saw coming. An anonymous tip. One cold evening, a strange email landed in the inbox of an American intelligence officer. There was no sender's name, no clear details about where it came from. But the message itself was chilling. It simply read, "Check under Queen Camilla's estate. Tunnels. Secrets buried. It's bigger than you think." At first, the team thought it was a prank. I mean, who sends an email like that about the Queen consort? But attached to that email were old, dusty documents and a few new maps. The documents looked aged, almost ancient. Some even had royal stamps and strange symbols no one recognized. But what really caught everyone's attention were the maps. These maps showed tunnels, hidden rooms, and even a marked vault. All of it sitting right under Queen Camilla's private mansion. It was so detailed, it felt impossible to fake. And that's when the FBI realized they couldn't just ignore this. What if it was real? What if there was something dangerous or illegal hidden beneath royal grounds? Why the FBI got involved? Now, here's the crazy part. The FBI doesn't normally go near royal business. That's not their area. But the tip-off wasn't just about Britain. Some of the leaked documents had connections to secret American operations, old bank transfers, and offshore accounts linked to powerful people. That was enough for the FBI to care. If any part of this connected to US soil or their past missions, they had to check it out. But there was a huge problem. How do you walk into the British royal estate without causing a global mess? The moment the FBI reached out to British intelligence, chaos broke out. Furious phone calls, secret meetings, and a lot of back and forth followed. No one knew what to do. British officials were angry, scared, and confused all at once. Can you imagine the headlines? FBI invades royal home? They knew they had to handle this quietly. So, after days of fighting and secret talks, both sides agreed on one thing. A small, hidden team of FBI agents would work with British agents. No cameras, no press, no one else would know. The search begins. The agents arrived just as the sun was setting. Queen Camilla's mansion looked calm, almost peaceful. Birds flew across the sky, the trees stood still, and everything seemed perfect. But everyone there felt it. Something was off. They started their search inside the mansion. Every wall, every room, every corner was checked. Hours passed. Nothing. The place looked clean, normal. And then they reached the wine cellar. Now, this wine cellar was ancient. Stone walls, wooden racks full of dusty bottles, and a smell of age that filled the air. But something stood out. A newly installed wooden cabinet. It was polished, clean, and too fresh for a place like this. Curious, the agents moved the cabinet. What they found made their hearts race. A small metal door, hidden perfectly behind it. No handle, no lock, just strange carvings around the edges. No one had seen this before. It took them a while, but finally they pried the door open. What greeted them was a wave of cold, damp air. The smell of wet earth and rust filled their lungs. In front of them was a dark, narrow tunnel leading deep underground. First impressions. Inside the tunnel. The tunnel felt like something out of a nightmare. It was pitch dark, narrow, and terrifyingly quiet. Every step the agents took echoed loudly. The walls were lined with old bricks, some falling apart, some looking strangely new. But what scared them the most were the symbols carved into the walls. Crowns, snakes, crosses, and strange words written in languages no one there could understand. Some symbols looked like they had been added recently. Others seemed centuries old. Then came the real surprise. Hidden among the bricks was wiring. Some of it was ancient, rusty, and covered in dust. But some wires were new, clean, and clearly put there just a few years ago. The mix of old and new made it clear. Someone had been using this tunnel. Someone still knew about it. The agents kept moving deeper. Each step felt heavier as the air grew colder. The shocking secret rooms. After what felt like hours, the tunnel finally opened up into a large underground chamber. What the agents saw next left them frozen in shock. The room was massive, almost like a forgotten underground palace. Dusty wooden tables stood around. Old books, scrolls, and maps covered every surface. Shelves ran along the walls, filled with thick, leather-bound books that looked like they hadn't been touched in hundreds of years. Some of the maps were of places that didn't exist anymore. Others showed cities, castles, and royal homes with markings and red circles. One of the agents whispered, "This is no ordinary place." They moved slowly, carefully checking everything, and that's when they found the artifacts. Strange and priceless artifacts. There, hidden in the shadows, were treasures people had only heard about in history books. Ancient swords with royal engravings, shields that carried the family crests of kings long gone, and royal jewelry, crowns, necklaces, rings, all thought to be lost in wars or stolen. Some pieces were so precious that they could change the entire royal family's history if revealed. Among these treasures, they found personal items, letters, love notes, and photographs. The photos were perhaps the most shocking. Yellowed with age, but still clear. Some showed famous royal family members in private moments. Others had political leaders from different countries, together in secret meetings, shaking hands, or even hugging. Some pictures were downright scandalous. If these photos ever got out, they could destroy powerful families, ruin reputations, and change history. The disturbing sealed door. But the worst was yet to come. In the corner of the chamber stood a large metal door. It was sealed tight, thick, and new. Unlike everything else, this door was built to protect whatever was inside. With effort, the agents forced it open. What they found was worse than anyone could have imagined. Inside was a vault, cold, clean, and terrifying. Piles of documents sat neatly stacked. Some were ancient, written on fragile paper with royal seals. Others were modern, typed, signed, and stamped. These papers were not just random files. They were evidence, proof of secret societies, blackmail, hidden deals, and crimes committed by people who ruled nations. There were documents hinting at global financial crimes, secret affairs, and even connections to scandals that the world still whispers about today. There were also mentions of Princess Diana, references to illegal operations, and proof of hidden royal family deals that had been covered up for decades. The FBI agents, trained for the worst, stood frozen. One of the agents, a man who had served in war zones, turned pale. He shook his head, unable to speak. It was too much, too dark, too real. Theories and shocking speculations. The discovery raised hundreds of questions. Why did this tunnel exist? Who built it? Was it for hiding treasure, running secret operations, or protecting the royal family's darkest secrets? Some agents believed it was created by kings and queens long ago to hide things they couldn't destroy. Secrets too dangerous for the world to know. Others thought it might have been updated recently, maybe even by Queen Camila herself. But then came another thought. What if she had no idea? What if she was just living above centuries of royal secrets, buried deep underground, waiting to be found. It wouldn't be the first time royals built secret tunnels. History is full of stories about kings hiding escape routes, queens protecting love letters, and empires covering up dark truths. The fallout. The moment the agents came back up, the British government moved fast. The site was sealed. Guards were placed around the mansion. Every agent involved was sworn to secrecy. Inside the government, panic spread. Meetings were held all night. Phones rang off the hook. Everyone knew. If this got out, it could bring down the royal family. There were a few leaks. Some reporters heard whispers about something strange happening at Queen Camilla's mansion. But every time they tried to follow the story, they hit a wall. Calls went unanswered. Sources disappeared. The media blackout was strong and terrifying. The tunnel's secrets had finally been uncovered, but questions still remained. Who built it? Why was it hidden? And most importantly, what else could be lurking beneath places we think we know? The discovery left the FBI shaken, but one thing is certain: this story is far from over. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on shocking discoveries like this. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think was really going on beneath Queen Camilla's mansion? Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.
Do you worry about protests? Do you worry about Republic coming and shouting things
Everyone has a right to think what they want.
Behind the big royal family everyone knows, there's someone most people forget about. Queen Camilla's son. He doesn't wear a crown. He doesn't stand on palace balconies. He stays quiet, away from cameras. But he has something that makes his life very different. Billions of dollars. He's not on magazine covers every day, but his world is full of things most people can only dream about. Big houses hidden behind tall trees. Fast cars that cost more than some people's homes. Trips to beautiful places that look like they came out of a movie. Expensive art, fancy clothes, private chefs, and more. All bought quietly, all kept out of the spotlight. While the world watches kings and queens, he lives a secret life of luxury. No flashing cameras, no big announcements, just quiet spending, quiet power. Behind the scenes, he moves through life with money that opens every door, but barely makes a sound. Homes that whisper wealth. Tom Parker Bowles lives in London, one of the most expensive cities in the world, and his home reflects his refined taste and financial power. He owns a beautiful townhouse, tucked away in a stylish and historic neighborhood. It's not the kind of house that screams for attention from the street, but once you step inside, it's impossible to ignore the quiet luxury that surrounds you. The home is likely filled with fine furniture, polished wooden floors, bookshelves lined with cookbooks and rare titles, and carefully chosen artwork. The kitchen, as expected from a food writer, is probably the heart of the house. It wouldn't be surprising to find top-of-the-line appliances, marble countertops, and copper pans hanging above a stove where both professional chefs and Tom himself have cooked many fine meals. But as lovely as city life is, sometimes you need space, calm, and a breath of fresh air. That's where Tom's countryside home comes in. Away from the buzz of London, he has a second property that offers peace and privacy. This home sits among the green fields and rolling hills of the English countryside. The house itself likely has a rustic charm. Stone walls, a large fireplace, and a kitchen with windows that look out over flower beds and fruit trees. It's a space designed for quiet evenings, good wine, and thoughtful conversation. Friends come to visit, long meals are shared, and time moves just a bit slower. This is the kind of place where he can step away from the public eye and simply live well. First-class travel, always. Tom Parker Bowles doesn't just live well at home. He also travels in style. When he goes abroad, he's not lining up in security queues or crammed into a middle seat. He flies first class, and sometimes even charters private jets. The destinations he chooses are just as refined as his lifestyle, often known for their beauty, culture, and of course, their food. Places like the Amalfi Coast in Italy are among his favorite getaways. With its sparkling blue waters, cliffside villages, and fresh seafood, it's a dream destination for any food lover. Tom isn't there just to relax. He's there to taste, to explore, and to experience the world's finest ingredients at their source. Provence in France is another spot that matches his lifestyle. The lavender fields, the local cheese, the deep red wines, all speak to someone who values not just luxury, but the richness of tradition and flavor. He's also often seen in the Cotswolds, sometimes alongside his mother, Queen Camilla. The area is known for its peaceful charm and classic English beauty. It's no surprise that Tom would retreat there when he wants a weekend of calm, comfort, and countryside cooking. These aren't rushed trips. They're slow, immersive, and full of detail. Every meal, every moment, planned and savored. A life built around taste. What truly sets Tom Parker Bowles apart is his deep love for food. He isn't just a man who enjoys fine meals, he's made a career out of it. As a food writer and critic, his entire world revolves around flavor. And when you have the money to chase the best tastes in the world, you do it at the highest level. Tom dines at Michelin-starred restaurants around the globe. These aren't casual dinner spots. They are temples of fine dining, where meals are carefully crafted over hours, and chefs are treated like artists. A single meal can cost hundreds, even thousands of pounds. But for Tom, this isn't about showing off. It's about the experience. It's about what's on the plate and the story behind it. He also enjoys private dinners at home with personal chefs, often preparing custom tasting menus that feature rare ingredients from around the world. These meals aren't just delicious. They're events, experiences shared with close friends who understand the value of fine cuisine. And it's not just about what he eats, but who he eats with. Tom is part of elite dining clubs and societies, private circles where food lovers come together to taste, discuss, and appreciate rare wines, exotic dishes, and cooking techniques. Entry into these circles doesn't come cheap, and they're not open to just anyone. It's another part of a lifestyle built on refined taste and quiet exclusivity. The style of a gentleman. You'll never see Tom Parker Bowles dressed in flashy designer logos or bold, trendy fashion. His style is the kind that doesn't shout. It speaks in soft, confident tones. Everything he wears looks effortless, but is clearly expensive. His suits are likely tailored to perfection, made by classic British brands that focus on craftsmanship over celebrity. He favors quiet, well-made pieces, shoes crafted from fine leather, shirts stitched with care, and accessories that suggest heritage rather than hype. A classic watch, maybe passed down or chosen for its story, adds just the right touch of elegance. This is the kind of fashion that says, "I know who I am," and that's far more powerful than any runway look. Making millions from his passions. While Tom Parker Bowles comes from money and moves in royal circles, he's also earned a fortune through his own work. As a best-selling author, his cookbooks have been sold across the world. These aren't quick recipe guides. They're thoughtful, detailed explorations of food, tradition, and flavor. His books have won awards and topped charts, earning him not just critical praise, but also a strong income. A single best-selling cookbook can earn hundreds of thousands in royalties, and with multiple books under his belt, Tom has built a personal brand that goes far beyond his famous last name. He's also a regular presence on television, judging food competitions, appearing in documentaries, and working behind the scenes in food media. Every appearance adds to his value, both financially and professionally. Beyond the page and the screen, Tom is believed to have investments in the food world. He may be a silent partner in several high-end restaurants, possibly even supporting boutique food brands that align with his values, organic farms, artisanal producers, or heritage food companies that focus on quality and tradition. These investments not only grow his wealth but keep him connected to the food world he loves so deeply. Speaking, hosting, and influencing. Quietly, Tom Parker Bowles also earns from public speaking. He is often invited to food festivals, wine events, and culinary conferences, where he shares his stories and knowledge with passionate audiences. He may guide tastings, host private events, or lead panels on everything from food history to the future of dining. These appearances aren't just side gigs. They're well-paid, well-attended, and contribute to the overall picture of a man who has built a life around passion and privilege. Every speech, every appearance is another layer of a lifestyle designed for someone who lives and breathes taste. A lifestyle steeped in quiet luxury. In the end, Tom Parker Bowles' life is not loud or flashy, but it's undeniably luxurious. From the homes he owns to the meals he eats, the way he dresses, and the businesses he supports. Everything reflects quiet confidence and refined taste. He may not be a royal in title, but he moves like one. He travels the world with purpose, dines like a king, dresses with timeless class, and earns from doing what he loves most. His billions aren't splashed across headlines or spent on wild extravagance. They're poured into flavor, culture, comfort, and connection. That's how Tom Parker Bowles lives. Not just rich in money, but rich in experience. So, there you have it. A closer look into the incredibly rich, yet surprisingly under-the-radar world of Queen Camilla's son, Tom Parker Bowles. He may not wear a crown, but when it comes to taste, travel, and quiet luxury, he's living a life most royals would envy. If you enjoyed this peek into his billionaire lifestyle, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating stories from inside the lives of the world's most elite and unexpected figures. Got someone you'd like us to cover next? Drop their name in the comments below. We're always watching. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the lives you never knew were this interesting.